Welcome to another episode of Little Talks, your weekly dose of marketing news and insights from Littlefield Agency.
Welcome back to another edition of Little Talks with Littlefield Agency. I'm Sam Littlefield. With me is
Roop
and
Courtney Roberts.
Courtney Roberts. We have a great guest, an internal guest, who is celebrating her soon-to-be 14th year here at the agency, a senior art director, Courtney Roberts. It's nice to have you on.
Thanks.
Is this your first time on our podcast?
I think so.
Have you been on a podcast before?
No.
She's a natural. You'll see.
You have a voice for it, for sure.
She has a very soothing voice. Roberts has always calmed me.
Yes.
I try.
It's working right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel much better. Well, it is. It's great to have. This is our first internal Littlefield Agency guest of the year. Does she get a T-shirt?
Yeah, sure.
I think she gets a T-shirt.
I think so. Yeah.
I might have one.
Did you designed it, didn't you?
Well, I designed the podcast logo,
Yeah.
so
we'll
got one by default.
Yeah, you know what? You deserve it. But if you don't have one, you can have it's a nice purple color. We like that. It's purple.
Blue.
Yeah,
Is it
I was
blue?
like, I'm pretty sure it's
blue.
blue.
Yeah,
it's blue.
Oh, it's blue.
What color is the
Purple.
agency official color?
Blue.
Yeah. So yeah, it's blue.
Oh God, I thought it was a little purple. Purple is my favorite color.
I get you
Maybe
purple.
that's
You
what I
want
was
a purple?
thinking. Nah, that's okay. That's fine. Well, hey, we have a few housekeeping things before we dive in with our special guest today. AU Solutions is a new client of ours. Has been a new client for a couple of months now. Spending a lot of really quality time, especially you, Roop. Claude, have you been spending any time with them? Just Roop?
No.
Philip went. Rocco, Chris, Kelly,
We've
Brock,
been there. They've
Becca.
been here. It's a very collaborative exercise as we get up to speed on their business.
Back out there next week, in fact.
Okay, I love that. So AU Solutions, shout out to you guys. Really like their team. They're good humans. I like them. I like them a lot. Very cool product. Big news. We have a new coffee maker coming to the agency.
Amen.
You heard an amen from Courtney Roberts. This isn't just any coffee maker.
Oh no!
This is the most sophisticated. I haven't seen people this excited
Since the toaster.
since the very sophisticated bagel. Or if you can't tell, we win our hearts with food.
It's true.
This thing makes lattes, espresso, black coffee. Courtney yesterday was like, "Hey, does this make black coffee?" And I was like, "I think so."
Brandon
Hope
and I
so.
had that concern
Surely.
too.
If it doesn't, man, I am sorry. But it makes a hell of a latte, and we're very excited. But I'm hoping that it makes black coffee. But the buzz around here for a new coffee machine really is. It's like we're bringing in $1 million.
Sarah was taking shells off of the wall
Yeah, this thing's
to
very
make.
tall.
Yeah, I'm dying to see it.
Well, the cool thing is it's a coffee subscription service. I found it actually at the local car dealer, Infinity. Very nice setup. I had to work there last week, and I was like, it's pretty nice. Thought it was going to be crazy expensive. Totally doable.
Didn't you find the toaster someplace you were at as well?
Yeah, the Hilton down in Austin, Texas. As I travel, I'm always thinking about the business. So that's super excited. Trent's at Master B2B conference. I think that's super cool. Trent is landing in Chicago today. Actually, he just landed. Grasshopper Trent with Andy and Brian from Master B2B. I enjoy their insights and their perspectives. I don't believe they listen to our podcast very often. They might, but I know Trent does. So Trent, I hope it's a quick 24 hours in Chicago before he goes back home. And then last but certainly not least, it is spring break time at Littlefield in the Midwest, etc. You were going to
Phoenix.
Chelsea's going to Phoenix. Claude's going to Phoenix. Phoenix is a thing. Roop is cleaning out his garage.
I'm going to my garage. Yeah. Rented a dumpster.
And I'm staying here, but can't believe it's spring break.
I know.
Yeah, we're already in March.
That's pretty crazy. So anyway, we'll jump to the good stuff with Courtney here. Courtney, like I said, has been here for 14 years. She's amazing, has really progressed. What was your first role here at Littlefield?
Intern.
And who were you interning with?
Mike Rocco.
And
Sam Littlefield.
I was an intern with Courtney Roberts. We have a human pyramid photo together.
That is true,
She looks like she's 14.
Do not edit that into this video, please.
Anyway, from intern to, what, associate designer?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was a term.
There was
back
a lot
then.
of things along
Lots of things.
Yeah.
She's now a senior art director and someone we really value here at the agency. And Roop has gotten this great topic today, Claude. And we brought in the expert, and that's Courtney, and that's how AI is changing B2B visual branding. So, Roop, please.
We talk a lot.
It's interesting.
We talk a lot about AI on here for different things, and I think when most people are thinking about AI or how they've used AI in their daily jobs or their lives, it is along the lines of: can you write me an email response? Can you write a blog outline? Can you write the blog? Can you, whatever. It's always writing related. Yeah. But the reality is there's a billion other uses for it. We've been talking a lot more about that lately on LinkedIn channel, on the podcast here and there. Some stuff Chris and Philip and I are working on. But it occurred to me we've not talked a lot about how it has impacted visuals and how you can use it in the creative world for images and video.
I love it.
And so we thought we'd just kind of go through some of that today. We say it again. We say it all the time. We'll probably say it again at the end of this episode. This moves fast.
Yeah.
It sure does.
If some of the tools we're talking about today are gone tomorrow and replaced, that won't be unusual. That's happening a lot.
And we're not irrelevant. We're still relevant.
You're trying to stay up with it.
Depends on when you're listening.
It's definitely an area where AI is touching, I think, every corner of life, and particularly in marketing. So this seemed like one that we had not touched enough on. I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to bring someone in that knew more about it than me, and definitely used it more than I have in this way.
We're learning as we're getting wiser.
Yeah.
So, Courtney, before Roop dives into just some, let's call them prompts, when you first started out here, was Photoshop a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it was a thing?
Yeah.
Were you working when it was introduced? Because I know that was an absolute game changer.
I think it came like 90, didn't it?
Was it
Yeah,
in the
I was
90s? Okay,
yeah.
so she was like 5 years old.
I was
Now,
working.
Roop, were you working?
Yes.
But again, like at a very impactful time where everyone's like, "Oh my God, what is this crazy thing? Photoshop, right? Completely transformed the game in the 90s from what was traditionally done in advertising. Fast forward to here we are in 2025. But AI has been around for the last couple of years, but really expediting. So, Roberts, walk us through. By the way, I call her Roberts. Her name's Courtney. Walk us through just where have you started and where have you gone? And then we'll get into some specific prompts.
I feel like it kind of exploded. Like I had my last baby a couple years ago. I went on maternity leave. So I was gone for like 12 weeks and I came back and the whole agency is abuzz about AI. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't have any more babies. I will never be able to keep up. Like there are 85 new tools I have to learn immediately. And it's my first day back. And that is what AI is. I feel like, it's just constantly changing.
It's a fire hose.
Yes. And there are a million tools and every one of them costs money probably, to try. And so it can really be, a time suck a little bit to try and figure out what works best for you. But, luckily working here, Sam has really embraced it and pushed us in the creative department and really as the agency to explore those tools and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And so we spend a lot of time doing that.
So, Court, can you think of like the initial ways you were using AI in your design world life? Does anything come to mind?
My favorite examples really are within Photoshop, like the generative AI I use every day now. It's incredible how much it's streamlined some of the processes, something as simple as like a banner ad resized, right? It's like we've designed this banner ad, we have to size it 8 different ways. Making one photo work in 8 different sizes used to be like nearly impossible. We'd have to make half the display ad just be a red box or something to make it work. Generative AI now makes all that up for you. So you can kind of like fit the image in how you want it and it'll fill the gaps. And
so it gives you some options.
Yeah, it's been really seamless and allowed us to kind of use our existing photography in some new ways. So really I think, the content creation, the editing side has grown a lot.
Yeah.
Really in the last year.
And real quick, generative AI for folks that are not native to the language.
Clarification.
And I've watched this. I've been blown away by this.
Yeah.
If you have an older photo and it's cropped fairly tight, because that cropping used to be part of a photographer's job, right? Kind of making a nice picture. But you may need more space to put type or whatever on it, or make it fit a particular area or size. You can use generative AI within Photoshop to take a look at like the edge of that photo and extend it. And I've seen this work not just on things like, make this mountain fill out the space. I've seen it with a house with like a little picket porch, and it looks great. It does a good job.
I probably use it on like every grasshopper display ad entrance. Never probably noticed because yeah, there's a lot to
Because it's
be.
just those kind of minor nuances
Yeah,
that you
it's
have
usually
to piece
just
together.
you're not adding to the product or anything necessarily, but it's like, you know what, I need a little bit more wiggle room around here. And
Yeah.
Interesting.
adding some background elements. It literally is a click of a button where I used to have to, expand the artboard and Photoshop that in, and it kind of looks right. This is just perfect.
Kind of try the clone tool a little.
Yeah, exactly.
So I remember an example. This was maybe well over a year ago, and it was some sort of Ditch Witch product,
Yeah.
and it was missing the rest of the landscape. Generative AI did its thing,
Right.
matched it pretty dang well to the naked eye. Really, no one could tell.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great example. So then walk through us just in the eye of a designer. That's a great use case.
Yeah.
What other ways? Talk to us from a conceptual standpoint. How are
Sure.
you using AI?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of exploring with image creation as
Okay.
well. So, if you don't have that photo shoot to start with, how can we go in and create new content, that's completely made from AI? So at this point, we've definitely explored it. Depending on what it is you're needing, it's still a long ways off, I think. When you're trying to get something as specific as a machine for a client, right? AI will try, but it can't get it quite right?
Okay.
Or there's just a lot of room there. Now, if you need just an illustration of a rainbow, great. They could do that all day long in
knows those rainbows.
in a million,
Yeah.
different forms. But when you try to get specific on like a brand level, that's when it gets tricky. So I think it's really useful more so for, ideation, like proof of concept or trying things out before you go and really blow it out. We've used it a lot in client presentations where
Interesting.
we want to show what this could look like, right? It's not going to be right. That guy might have 7 fingers. Don't look at that, but here's the idea.
Yeah.
And so, it works really good for that. We use it for that a lot.
And you're showing clients that thought process.
Oh, yeah.
Is that tool Sora? Is that what you're using there?
Sora's video
Okay.
specifically. So we haven't, I don't think, used Sora. We're exploring that to see how that can work. And, we could go buy an iStock video, or we could get a little bit more specific potentially in Sora. It's got some room to learn there as well.
Yeah.
On Sora's end. I think there's still a lot of growth that needs to happen. But yeah, no, Midjourney.
Midjourney, yeah.
We did a lot in Midjourney. There's even, within Photoshop now, you can actually just give it a prompt and it'll create something. Midjourney's a little bit more sophisticated, I think. And then in Illustrator, you can give it an outline. So like, let's say I know that I want some kind of icon or graphic of something. I can literally just like hand sketch the general shape, and it'll fill it in for me and give me a vector that I can change the colors in and scale up and down. It'll never pixelate. So, for iconography, things like that, it's a good starting point. And
Damn.
I can't think of a time where I've ever generated something and I'm like, that's it as is. It always
Yeah.
requires a lot of hand holding.
Excellent lead into something I want to reiterate every time we talk about AI. AI is almost never going to 100% complete a job or task. Its job is to make things more efficient and save you some time, and maybe do 80% of that legwork, so you can make that last 20% that much more rich and human, have that human touch.
I love that.
So it's never going to finish a job for you. It's going to help you get there faster and give you more time to really kind of spend on it than you might have otherwise doing all that dumb legwork, right?
Well, and
Yeah.
I go back to inbound, right? AI creates, humans curate. That's exactly what you just described,
Yeah.
Robert.
That's right.
100%.
So ideation standpoint, are you with, Zach or Rocco from a copywriting standpoint, and you're doing that? Are you doing this ideation by yourself? Is it a combination? And then obviously it goes to the client.
Yeah, I think it depends on the project.
Okay.
I mean, there's times where Zach and I, or whoever I'm concepting with, we've kind of messed around a little bit together and saw what could come up. But yeah, there's definitely times where I get in there too and just play around with things.
Super
and
cool.
try and, what would it look like if this was happening in a different season, or what would it look like,
Interesting.
if it was raining, or, I don't know, or if we want to make the weather look really extreme. I used it for like a Halloween post on social because I had a photograph to work from, but I gave it a really ominous sky and some bats and, made it kind of feel Halloween-y. So there's definitely like you said, it's an AI is an algorithm of things that already exist out there, but it's the thought and the idea that drives that. And so having somebody that's really thinking critically, trying to make sure that idea is worth exploring.
That's really interesting. Okay, so last point here, just before we wrap. someone at Magnet a couple weeks ago in Miami talked about, for the most part, gone are the days of those $1 million TV shoots, production spots, et cetera. So, they're few and far between. I'm sure some huge brands have them. But we're getting more nimble and cost effective. And I'm talking on the client side and agency. He was really, they were being very intentional, as we are as an agency, in thinking through, okay, not just for this shoot, but for eventual content purposes, right? Mm-hmm. So are you in any way, and Rup, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, just repurposing content that's been shot with AI, because, there's ad fatigue, et cetera. Of course, there's a time and a place for a new photo, video shoot, whatever it may be. But are you repurposing content from other shoots yet? Is that something you're thinking about? It's a conversation that Rup and I have had.
We repurpose content from shoots all the time. As far as AI is concerned, I think that's one of the things we're exploring in Sora.
Cool.
We've done a lot in there and trying to play around with it and haven't really found a good case where I could use this existing footage and it comes out and still looks really authentic to the brand.
Fair enough.
Now, I think it could be a really good replacement for, someone like a bank maybe that just needs some like general, this person holding a debit card, right?
Mood images. Yeah.
Right. Like something that's like very generic that feels, it feels a little bit more stock. But when you try and get really
Our
specific.
clients have such specific products.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been harder on the B2B side, I think, to repurpose existing content and kind of tweak it with AI. But I really do think it'll get there. I think it's just so fresh.
That's like a perfect thought.
As of March 2025.
A year from now. Yeah,
Right.
This is March, we're in March, whatever, 10th or 11th of 2025. It'll be interesting to see next year. Is it just spot on? Next month. Who knows?
AI, just like it's learning off of text it can read and see on the internet for those text purposes. It has a general library right now for images. And that's why you get those kind of mood things, or it can do a rainbow or a window or whatever. But if you need a JT 120 or something very product specific, I've seen it really try, and it creates some crazy stuff. But I think in time it'll be able to learn off of photography and images and be a lot closer. I mean, it feels like it just needs that time and that library to learn from.
Yeah.
Roberts, amazing. I will leave you with this quote from Courtney Roberts: "AI is an algorithm of things that already exist." I've never really thought of it that way, but that's so true.
You learn something every week on here, don't you?
This is why I show up every week. I feel calmer. I feel great. It's great to have Court on here.
Yeah.
So thank you for your soothing voice and for your soothing thoughts. And we appreciate the time, Rupster.
We're going to have her back because this is only going to change, only going to get better,
100%.
and we want to keep up with it.
She's also a natural. So Court, middle camera. We'll wave goodbye. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
And that's a wrap. We hope you've enjoyed our little chat and found ways to grow your own marketing strategies. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and follow us on social media @Littlefield Agency.